Hello, it's Mo back in the Keto Kitchen for Matthew's Friends on the cooking channel, and I'm pleased to say that summer is around the corner, and I thought I would show you a nice simple meal today that would be very useful if you're planning to have a barbecue. If you're not going to have a barbecue, it's just as nice to eat inside. I'll start with the vegetable part of it, and it's a celeriac coleslaw. Now we use celeriac in place of potato, but I thought it would be nice to introduce it into a salad. It does lend a different flavour to the coleslaw. Of course, if you don't want celeriac, then you can add a bit more cabbage and carrot. Now that is white cabbage, and I've sliced that quite finely. You can have it chunkier if you wish. Just put that in a bowl, get it all out. And then this is the celeriac. Now I've grated it rather than slicing it because it sort of tenderises it a bit and makes it a bit easier to eat. And it adds a nice flavour to the coleslaw. It makes a change from just cabbage and carrot. And of course, for your colour and additional flavour, there's some grated carrot. You can bring the changes for a coleslaw. You can use other vegetables if you prefer, but this is traditional. And then of course we have mayonnaise. Now I'm just going to mix the vegetables around a little bit to get them fairly evenly in the bowl. It's easier to do this before you add the mayonnaise. Right, so the mayonnaise can now go in. Get the faithful spatula to clean out your bowl, at least any. Now you may want to add some seasoning. I know it's not popular to overuse salt, so you may not want salt, but I think that a little bit of black pepper in this adds to it. Not too much, just a little bit. Gives it a little bit of colour and does add to the flavour. So all you've got to do, of course, is mix it up. Now this is minced beef, more traditional to use minced beef. You can of course use lamb or pork, whatever. Just make sure that you work out the right amount. They don't vary a great deal, these meats, they all have fat and protein. So that goes into a bowl. If you want it finer than this, you can pop it into a little mini mixer and grind it down a little bit more. Sometimes that's favourable. Now this is boursin with garlic and herb, and that will put flavour into that very nicely, and also some more fat. And I find that the more fat you have in the burger, the more tender it cooks. So that's a 2-in-1 there, flavour and fat. Just mix those together. It smells lovely, of course, because it's got garlic. I mean, if you don't like garlic, then of course you could replace the boursin with a little Philadelphia. That would still give the same effect of putting some more fat into it, but you wouldn't have that nice garlicky flavour, so you may want to add some other seasoning to it. can see that that's formed into quite a good shape. Now I can shape it a bit better when I'm going to put it into the pan. So I'll put that on, wait for it to warm, and then you've got oil. You need oil to cook it. You could add a little bit of oil into that if you wanted to, but it would come out, so you may as well put it in there. But of course, when we've finished cooking, any oil left in there will have to be used, and it would be okay if you let it go cold and then just add it to the coleslaw. Now, as I say, this has formed quite a good shape in the bowl. If you get a spatula and just shape it around a bit more, you can have this as thin or as thick as you like. Obviously, the thicker it is, the longer you're going to have to fry it. So that may come into the equation. I would prefer to have it a little thinner to ensure that it cooks all the way through. Just ease that round, and if I'm lucky, I can get it out. There we go. Now, I think you'll see that that does look like a beef burger. And when I think this fat is hot enough, and I can feel it, so this may sizzle. Yep. Now that will need to cook for 4 or 5 minutes on each side to ensure that it cooks all the way through. And you can just keep it on the move a bit in case you think it's going to burn. But of course, burgers do get that lovely caramelised burnt look. And you can do this in the kitchen because you've got to keep that oil contained. But once it's cooked, you can then whip it outside to the barbecue and put it on a corner of the barbecue just to add to the theatre for the person or child that's on the ketogenic diet. And it will also add a little bit of the barbecue flavour to it, which will be good. But the all important bit is to get that oil. And as I say, if you let it cool down, you can add it to the coleslaw, or maybe you can have a word with your dietitian and find out, what would be best to replace the oil that's left. And probably you could do it with a little more mayonnaise. That often works, or some butter. I'm just going to have a look and see if that's, yeah, it's brown on that side. I'm just going to turn it over. Of course, as the fat comes out, it will change shape a bit. But when you think it's cooked, you just leave it to settle for a while and it will be easier to handle. You can, of course, make a whole batch of these for anyone else that may want one. Again, it's not solely for ketogenic, it's just the amount of fat that's the important bit in this. There's no carb in this burger at all. It's carb free. So all you've got in there is fat and protein. So there you have your burger. It's been cooking for long enough now, and you can set that to one side to serve with the celeriac. And I hope that you do all have a lovely summer with lots of barbecues, because if you do, I will.